All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I have Kim from Intuitiview joining me. How are you doing, Kim?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. Thank you again for joining us. I was telling Kim backstage. I've been a fan of her channel for I think since she started it, and definitely one of the first readers I saw in the community. So thank you for all the good content and. I probably wouldn't have started my own channel had it not been for you and others when I first started watching. So thank
Wow,
you and
that's
thank you for
amazing.
joining us.
I'm so glad you did. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just dropped my notebook, which is very professional of me. But no, I'm so glad you did. And I see you all the time in the chat. So it's nice to finally meet you. And yeah, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, me and Kim are going to be answering your political questions or current event. We have a lot going on. So if you'd like to send a question, go ahead and send it in the chat in all caps. A couple heart emojis to catch my attention, and me and Kim will get to as many questions as possible. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Please go over to Kim's channel, Intuitiview, and subscribe if you haven't already. And just a quick note, I have another political show tomorrow with Mel Dorr on my channel. So if I miss your question tonight, please stop by tomorrow night. And I think that's about it. Anything that is going on with you, Kim?
As far as what?
Like the channel or,
With my channel, well, I finished my Power of Intuition cards, which I have
cool.
on my website on intuitiview.com. And that's been kind of my latest thing. And then we just did our first retreat, which was really fun in Bryce Canyon, Utah. And that was very exciting and fun. And it really was just like a tune-up, a spiritual tune-up, and I think it's so important right now to do that, to give yourself that time to be with others that are, like-minded and can offer support and love. And it was just wonderful.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, I saw pictures and it looked absolutely beautiful. So it was
It's an
funny.
amazing place.
People mix me and Kevin Lewis up all the time. I was having people ask, "How was the trip, Kevin?" I was like, "Wrong, Kevin," but it was amazing.
Oh, funny. Yeah. So yeah, but it was really fun, and hopefully there'll be more in the future. I'm hoping.
Yeah, and I didn't include your website in the description box. I can add it later. Are you doing? Yeah. You don't do any readings, correct?
No, right now I'm not adding readings right now, or I had mentoring sessions, but they're gone through for the January, so I'm not. But I'm not adding any right now. But I do have classes on my website. You can, they're recorded, so you can get those. I have my cards on there, and then Thursday nights and on Sundays I'm on live on my channel. So
yes, I'll make sure to put that in for you then in the description box when we're done.
Great. Yeah, it's just intuitiview.com. Very easy.
Perfect. All right. So I have some questions started here. I was kind of wondering this too. I know that I believe Biden's supposed to give some kind of address here shortly. So I don't know how many people will be watching us live, but Lisa wants to know, will the meeting with President Biden and Chinese President Xi be productive?
I just heard somewhat.
I feel like it's very measured. That's what I just heard was measured, like somewhat productive, but maybe it was more surface.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. I'm getting that they're Xi Jinping, is that how you say it? Xi Jinping is really does not want Donald Trump to be president, which is very interesting. It's too destabilizing. He doesn't want it. So, and I'm looking down because I'm scribbling just so people know what I'm doing. And I feel like it's kind of like there'll be things discussed, but the overarching theme is keeping things stable, keeping everything stable. And he doesn't want to he can't give our secrets away, or he won't give our secrets away, something about secrets. I think it's all to do with like malware and that kind of stuff that I have known nothing about, but it's something like that. But yeah, what did you get, Kevin?
Yeah, it felt like it was, like I said, measured, like it was professional. I think it was somewhat productive. It does feel like there's a bit of an elephant in the room, like that elephant wasn't addressed with the relationships, because I have the devil here, and that I think has to do with like our relationship, China, helping Russia and really kind of attacking a lot of our infrastructure, taking technology secrets. But I do feel like the whole purpose of the meeting maybe was for some kind of talks to kind of help benefit China, since they haven't been doing well, they've been struggling. To try to get past some of the roadblocks that they've had between the two of them. I do get that, I have the star, so it feels like there was progress, but I do feel in the future there's still going to be continued issues. So I think it was helpful in that aspect, like, there were some coming to terms with things, but going into the future, I mean, there's still going to be some roadblocks between the two of them.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm picking up.
Oh, right.
And I'm not sure if that's what the address, Biden's address, I think at like 7:30 tonight. Okay. I think it has to do with, the progress and the discussions with Xi.
Okay.
All right. So we had some questions on Mike Johnson. Doesn't that dude just creep you out? I just get like creepy perv vibes from him, and
yes,
around him. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either.
Not a fan. He wants to know, does the speaker Mike Johnson have an offshore bank account? I've read on this already, but I'd be interested to see what you picked up.
Offshore bank account. I'm seeing churches, like he hides it in the church, or he hides in churches, or something like that. Or they're fronting. Yeah, there's something about hiding it in the church or hiding it with the church.
That's interesting. I did feel like there was some money offshore, but that really resonates with me too, Kim. That it's like there's like mega church money.
Yeah, mega church. That's yeah. Let me just see offshore. That just came up first. So let me just see offshore bank accounts. I'm getting yes, but it almost seems like it's not regular money, like it's crypto or it's something like that. It's something different than like, so maybe it's like a money equivalent offshore. I'm not sure what this is, but yeah, he definitely does have some things of value offshore. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, at least that's what I'm getting. Yeah.
I'm getting the like it's to hide assets, and I think it's him and the wife, not just him, because I have the Lovers and this Queen of Swords coming through, and I've often felt with the wife, like that was part of a big scandal I felt coming out about him. It had to do with the wife, and maybe it's the finances. with that.
Interesting.
We have the devil, so no good, not dark money, and him feeling trapped and restricted by it. So it's like he's like, I'm going to put it over here, trying to retreat. But I do feel like more information coming out. There's a whistleblower coming out with this, and
Oh
more
gosh.
information kind of illuminating on the finances. It feels like it's a big scandal.
Yeah, I have felt that. I felt it that it could be more of like a sex scandal or like a personal scandal of some kind. But money makes sense as well, because they're, this is the way they roll, and that's what's important, seems to be important to them.
And he's already had some weird stuff come out, like something about like porn monitoring devices on him and his son's phone. It's so weird.
It's so weird. It's just too weird. It's
What do you feel we did get, the House did pass the budget to, like the CR bill, which I said yesterday, I felt like Democrats were going to come around, but I felt when he got in, it would be a similar situation with McCarthy, and then with him, like him really pissing off a lot of the extremists in the party. And I feel like they're going to let things slide after, Democrats helped pass the budget right now. But I feel like when it comes back up to a vote is when I've felt like there might be a short shutdown and him eventually being kicked out. Like January, February with him leaving really, really resonates strongly. Does that resonate with you at all, or have you gotten anything on him leaving?
Yeah. So let me see, because I've never actually looked at him leaving. So let me look at that and see if I get anything with that.
Hey, Kevin Lewis.
Other Kevin. Two Kevins. He's made some kind of pledge to the MAGA people.
Mm-hmm.
He's made some kind of promise to them. It's something about Trump. To me, it feels like it's kind of it's a bigger thing, or a bigger promise, or a bigger. It's off the record. It's secret. So they may leave him alone, at least for the time being, but placate. He's going to kind of fall into the Kevin McCarthy trap of trying to placate everybody. But I feel like he's made a big promise to the MAGA people that may help him hold on, is at least with them. But it's not stable, it doesn't feel stable to me. So, and a lot of this, too, is it's free will, right? So, they're all reacting to each other. So, but it feels probably what you were picking up too. It just feels like an unstable, like they're on a whole, a rocky ship, It's going to be quite a trick to keep all of this, to stay in. It's going to be quite a trick, but it's weird because I did pick up that he's promised something to them, like the MAGA, that's kind of big and off the record.
Okay.
So just FYI.
It's really hard to read in the energy of the Republican Party and in the Congress, just because it's so chaotic right now, and so unstable. It's like, I saw maybe McCarthy getting in, but I didn't feel like he'd be in long, but it didn't feel like it was for sure. And then I didn't even pick up on Johnson. I didn't even know who he was. It's like the same thing too with the Republican nominee, and because I feel like it's going to probably most likely end up being Trump, but then I don't see him on the ticket come November of next year. So it's really murky energy and really unsettling energy right now to kind of see things really
It
clearly.
really is. And I'm so glad you said that because I have never seen him getting the nomination. So so there's something to that. Either he gets it and then he's kicked off or something, but
Health related, maybe.
yeah, I know he's not going to, if he did make it onto the ticket, I know he's not going to win. He's not the next president. So, but I've never seen him getting the nomination. And I'm like, why do I keep seeing this? And everybody else is like, oh, he's going to get it. And so I'm so glad that you said that. I'm not alone.
I almost feel like it's what their convention, the Republican convention, would be after the primary. But like something happens around then, whether it's a health challenge or, you know, a legal challenge or something that kind of takes him out of the running. And I just feel chaos, Republicans scrambling to throw somebody in there is kind of what I picked up.
I think that's exactly right. Mm-hmm. And the person in the like running against Biden, I've always felt as like the energy of almost like a Romney, Pence kind of that kind of like Christian uptight energy, however that is. So it could be like Nikki Haley. It could be someone, you know, it could be someone like that they throw in last minute. It doesn't. I guess it could be Chris Christie. It doesn't really feel like that. Definitely doesn't feel like Ramaswamy. It doesn't feel like that guy. Yeah.
You know, so I had a weird feeling when Tim Scott announced, but he did recently drop out.
Yeah.
But like I had like a weird gut feeling when he announced. I don't know. It was really kind of strange to have such a reaction when he announced he was running. But I didn't feel like he would be voted in either. So I don't know. It's hard to see clearly. So.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think you've got lots of different people with lots of different motivations, and I think that's when it's hard to read.
Yeah.
You know, that's I mean, because when you're talking about like a block of people, they're hard to read because they're all over the place. They're not really the Democrats are very united right now. Yeah. So they're a lot more easy to read because they all don't have their own little motivations. They're very, you know, very collective in the way that they're going about things. But Republicans are in it for themselves. So when you have that, it really is like you kind of have to look at every single person, and reading them as a block is really difficult. It is, like you said, it's almost like scattered energy or confusing. It's just confusing energy.
And it almost feels like it's just a lot of it's unsettled and a lot of it is free will. Like, you know, Trump, every time I read on him, I get concerns on his health. He needs to watch his health. You know, could he make those better decisions and maybe delay things out? Sure. You know, could they decide that they're going to act quickly and indict it? There's a lot of uncertainties with it. On top of it, you know, being, you know, so chaotic in the Republican Party.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a good question. Steve wants to know, with the imminent eruption in Iceland, will the ring of fire become more volatile? If yes, will Australia be affected? Oh, Mickey, not Steve. I'm almost feeling, I'm not feeling Australia, but it feels like New Zealand or somewhere in there. It feels like there's volcanic activity. I know that underwater volcano erupted, I think, last year, and maybe something similar to that again. And it feels like maybe like Russia or like China, like, you know, or maybe Japan, like somewhere in that area. And then South America, it feels like there's activity as well.
So I don't know anything. I'm not a sciencey person, but I don't know anything about this. But I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to ask you, do tidal waves or giant waves have anything to do with this? Because I keep getting giant waves or what almost look like tidal waves, not quite tsunami, but it looks like tidal waves coming in.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen that too, and it felt like it was more like South Pacific,
okay.
like around Fiji, New Zealand, that kind of area.
Yeah, maybe that's because I don't quite feel like it's Australia,
Hmm.
but it does feel like yeah, I just see like water erupting, like just like
Okay.
tidal waves, tidal waves. So something is with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish I could be more specific, but yeah, and it does feel when that resonates when you say like Japan, maybe somewhere like that.
Hmm.
It feels a little more right.
Yeah.
Australia, I'm not getting much on that, so
Mm.
hopefully that's good news.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully too, it's nothing like. I know that they had an underwater volcano. I think it's like the Tonga volcano. I think last year or the year before, and it's like right north of New Zealand, and I do feel like more activity there too. But it's all part of this shift. I mean, we're experiencing more earthquakes worldwide, and I do feel like volcanic activity kind of working along with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Even
no,
maybe even in Italy, I think they're talking about increased volcanic activity over there, and that's not Ring of Fire, but it just feels like it's kind of everywhere.
right. Yeah, yeah, that does resonate.
Mhm.
That's a good question though.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how if we're going back to Mike Johnson for entertainment purposes only. Do you feel
Yeah.
any concerns with trafficking?
It doesn't feel, at least to me, it feels more personal. It feels closer
Hmm.
to home. It doesn't feel like it's a network, or to me
Yeah.
anyway. It feels more like it's close to home. It's personal. I keep hearing secrets. I always get like he's keeping secrets, things like that
Hmm.
when I go into Mike Johnson. I always feel like, yeah, I always get that there's secrets there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I agree with that, Kim. I wasn't necessarily feeling a connection with that, although I do feel like there's something secret as well with that. Like I said, I always get kind of creepy perv vibes with
yeah,
him. Like there's something there to it, but I don't think it goes to that extreme of being like networking and trafficking.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Karen wants to know if the Senate will be able to pass funding for Ukraine and Israel.
Senate be able to. I'm getting they will get it done somehow. It does feel like it's about a month away. So either near Christmas or right after Christmas or something, but that's what I'm getting.
Okay. Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
felt.
feel like right now. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no, you're good.
Um, yeah, it's weird because I feel the Senate working on it, but then maybe when it goes back to the House, I do get that there's, you know, I have the devil here, so there's some ulterior motives, some things
Mm,
that the Republicans in the House want to keep in the dark, and them kind of sneaking around. I've always said I feel like it's going to get done, but I do have the Six of Wands next, Six of Pentacles next to it, which is kind of a bit of negotiation. So there might have to be a little bit of negotiation to get it passed, but I do see it getting through eventually.
yeah, I do too. And maybe that's why it seems like it'll take a little time, but
Hmm.
it does get done.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way they get it done. So
And you said that you were feeling around like in the next month, like around the holidays.
yeah, it does feel like it's about a month, still a month away. I'm not great with time, but
Yeah.
it kind of feels like it might be like right before or right after the holidays.
Hmm. That's I think that's kind of what I'm picking up with that
Yeah.
too. I
Okay.
think that that's the time frame for that. Okay. Um, Ross says the Senate Rules Committee just voted on Tuberville, saying 7 Republicans voted no. Will this pass when Schumer brings it to the floor? They're trying to change the rules so that Tuberville, with his blockades, that he won't have the power. I'm not sure exactly how he can block things, but
no, it's so weird.
But my guys did tell me, I think beginning of October, like we were getting close to stopping Tuberville, and I do think there might be a rules change. I don't know if they're going to quite go with this just yet. I feel like they want to kind of do a bit of negotiations, or maybe not go to an extreme as past, changing the rules. But I do feel like it's going to be stopped.
I feel like McConnell is trying to, or somebody like him, but I think it's McConnell is trying to like negotiate within, like trying to figure it out like amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they can't, that they'll probably bring it to a vote to put pressure on people. But I feel like, there's the chance that they might be able to, pressure him within the party. Because I feel like it's like they want to keep it in, like figure it out amongst themselves and try to get him to just stop or whatever, let go of this. But they want that opportunity. So it could be stopped that way. And then I feel like if they can't, it'll come up for a vote to pressure people.
Mm-hmm. That's where I feel like it was a hesitation. It's like they want to work on it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Save face in some way, because this is kind of a disaster for them, especially with the election coming and stuff. I just think they want out of this. So.
Well, and there's also that huge concern of the security risk for our own self.
Exactly.
I think that is really kind of where it's pressing with, like all of the domestic terrorism and, what's going on in Israel. There's a major concern for our own security. And I kind of see that a little bit in the cards, like, and I don't want to really put that out there, but there might be some kind of activity like that. And then that's like really that pressure to do something. But I do see it. We have the star in the Wheel of Fortune as the final outcome. So there's a turning point, keep the faith, it's going to pass. Even a lot of Republicans, I think, feel really trapped and restricted right now because of him. They're not happy. But I do see it going through.
That is the feeling. It's just like, we just want to be done with this. We just want to be out of this. It's not good. They don't like it, but they don't quite know how to make him stop. He's getting a lot of money from doing this. So it's, he's just going to write it out, but they're trying to stop him. Yeah.
And I feel like this is going to be like a bad smear, like a stain on his legacy, and he's not going to get reelected.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, totally resonates that.
I don't know when he's up for reelection, but it feels like his career's over after everything's said and done.
I totally agree with you. This is not good for him. He thinks it is because it appeals to a really small little section of people, but it's not enough.
Yeah. I'm not sure maybe Kim knows, but Unique says, will Congress and Senate start charging for pay for IEW? Do you know what that is? Or does anybody in the chat, they can clarify?
Pay for IEW. Something workers, something. IEW.
Somebody in the chat, if you know what she was asking, go ahead and let us know. I'm going to skip, but I'll come back to it if somebody. I don't know if it was a typo or what IEW stands for.
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't a question, but wayward ramblings. Hi, Kevin and Kim. Is the fact that Biden has more followers on Truth Social and has been given about 30 million more in donations more telling than the polls? I think it's hilarious that Biden has more followers on Truth Social.
Oh, that must be so hard.
For Trump.
So funny.
I keep telling everybody not to worry about the polls. They're not accurate. And, although I do feel like there are some people that, aren't Biden's not the most exciting candidate or, really gets people enthused to go vote. I think everything going on in the Republican Party, the restriction for women to make their own decisions for their body, climate change. There's going to, the threat to democracy that the Republicans, that they show. I see people being really turned off by the Republican Party and really coming out and voting in droves for Democrats, even if Biden's not the most exciting person. And that's evident too in off-year elections where typically, and in red states where Republicans would, win huge. Women are coming out, young people are coming out, people that aren't, like every time voters are motivated to come out. So I don't feel like the polling is accurate, is what I've always felt.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And so many people, are not completely engaged a year away. They're just living their life. And also, Trump has not gotten the nomination yet. So they're doing kind of a what if scenario. And, I just don't think I don't think it can be accurate right now. I also got something about this before, that there may be some people that used to be MAGA that are lying to the pollsters. They're not wanting them to know, I don't support Trump anymore, because they're scared. You have somebody calling you and saying, do you support Trump? And I think there are a lot of people that are fearful to say no, that were in the MAGA camp. So I think it's going to be kind of shocking if he were to make it into the nomination, if they got that, how little support he actually has. He really doesn't have much. People are just scared. So they're saying one thing to even senators, right? One thing to the cameras and one thing off, because they're afraid. They don't want death threats. They don't want,
well, they don't want to end their career either, How many have stood up against Trump or voted to impeach him, and how many of those people are left in the Congress,
Right. So yeah, I just think the polls are not that, and yeah, that's a good thing. Karen is saying that the polls were wrong in 2020, 2022, 2023. So yeah, there's something wrong with the way they do polls too much of an old-fashioned way. They need to figure out a way to do them more,
And they call a lot of landlines too, I think. I don't think that they call a lot of cell phones. I've never been called or texted.
Never. I never have.
I've never have either. So it's like, how are they reaching out to everyone,
Exactly.
And I keep telling people not to worry about the polls. We're still a year away. Like I said, we keep getting good news with these elections, and I don't see that stopping.
Right. Yeah. When push comes to shove, people do not want Trump in charge again. They really don't.
It's crazy though, in big red states that are competitive, like Kentucky, and I live in Ohio. We just passed our abortion measure.
Yeah.
It was pretty close in, was it Mississippi, for the governor's race? So it's kind of crazy. But I feel like this is really what's going to give, Democrats back the majority in all three houses come 2024. And it's a really tough Senate map for Democrats in 2024. There's not a lot of Republican seats that are up, and there's quite a few in Republican states.
Right.
So, But I feel like it's going to be okay. I feel like we're going to even get a surprise or two on the Senate races.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you, I wanted to ask you, Joe Manchin, I think he's going to end up running for, or starting a campaign, but what do you feel about his seat? Do you feel like it's going to stay blue, or do you feel like the Republicans are going to gain on that? Because I believe the governor's term is up, and he's really popular in West Virginia. He's a Republican, and I think he's running. I'm not sure his name, but I was feeling like he might get it, but I'm not sure.
I saw somebody coming in, a Democrat who has some kind of like old timey, like family connection to coal country or coal country. So, and I felt like it would be like a competitive race, even though it doesn't seem like it should be. But I don't know who this is, but it was a man, and I felt like his family had some kind of history in coal. And so it's like they know the name or something. So I don't know who this is, but I felt like it would be kind of competitive. So there's a chance for a Democrat to take it. I think it has to be the right candidate. They have to be, smart about these things, and they're going to probably be, way conservative, but I did see that. So I did wonder if there might be a chance that a Democrat could take it.
That's interesting too, because it kind of sounds like Joe Manchin, because he's well known, I think, statewide, because I think he has connections with coal, and I know that there's I think a family name or something like that. So it almost kind of, I don't know if I feel like him jumping back in that race, but maybe somebody else. I'm not sure of their politics in West Virginia. So.
And did you get Manchin running for president?
He's going to start one of those campaigns, I think, to see if there's any feedback. But I feel like him being disappointed. If he decides to run, I don't see him gathering much support at all.
Right.
And just like that other, the one that's primarying Biden, that congressman from Minnesota. Was it Dean Phillips? Is that the name?
Like that.
I felt like he was going to totally burn bridges, and I feel like him and Manchin both are getting some dark money to try to take votes away from Biden, is what I kind of think with that.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And I think with Manchin, when I looked at him, I thought I saw him going into the private sector. So I think you're right. I think if he bids for president, it'll be kind of short-lived. And because I saw him going into being a lobbyist or being something like that, where it's like money, a lot of money is involved, but it's kind of more in the private industry. But I just feel like he was all about the money. Wherever the money is, that's where he, that's where he wants
to go. Picking up steam or momentum for his campaign at all. I'm not feeling that at all. I'm almost hesitant, because I do feel like, like I said, he might be getting paid. So with his intentions, but I almost feel like he won't even be on the ticket in 2024. I'm not really picking that up.
Yeah, I don't think so. That doesn't. Yeah, I don't think so either.
What do you feel with? Somebody just asked. Some Kat says, "Will Biden survive all the challenges on the left? Jill Stein, Dean Phillips, RFK, Cornel West." I actually thought with RFK, I feel like he's going to take votes away from Trump. I see Democrats saying.
I did too. I got the same thing. I felt like he would too. He's because he's into a lot of conspiracy theories, and that's more associated with the right than it is the left. And so I felt the same thing too. I think just because he's a Kennedy, people assume that he'll take votes from Biden, but he's not like the Kennedys that I know.
Even Trump, I think, is mad that he announced that he was running as an independent. Trump
I think so too.
Because he knows. But, there's something about him. His energy is very dark to me. RFK.
I actually feel like there's some mental illness there, and some. Do you know if he has had a history of some kind of drug abuse, like for entertainment purposes only, like steroids or something?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I almost feel like it's like abuse. Like he's for entertainment purposes only. Like I don't know if it's abusive towards his wife or
okay, so maybe something like that.
It's very, like a lot of anger is what I pick up with him.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like a heavy drinker too. So maybe that's the substance abuse. I don't know about drugs or if there's any rumors about that.
Yeah. Because I kept getting something that to me felt like a kind of addiction of some kind. But I also got some mental illness as well.
Yeah.
Like paranoia, and like you said, anger issues, things like that. And I thought, I wonder if it's steroids, because I know that can be a thing, but I was picking up something like that. It's weird because I know he's getting a lot of votes right now, but I don't really see him as a threat to Biden in any way. So either he'll eventually drop out, or it will not hurt him. It will not hurt Biden. So, but I'm not really getting him as being a threat of any kind.
Yeah. People in the chat are saying yes, that there's drug abuse.
Oh, okay. So all right. Yeah. Oh, it was on heroin for years. Oh, wow. Okay. That is drug abuse.
And I saw a poll where it had like a 3-way race between Biden, RFK, and Trump, and it was saying that RFK was getting like 25% of the vote. I don't see it being anywhere near that.
I don't either.
It's crazy.
I don't either.
Stuff like that, it just makes me feel like I'm really not worried about the polling a year out, and we have evidence with these elections. So
right.
All right.
Okay. They're saying it's well documented. I don't know anything about RFK at all. I just know that he is all about, the only thing I've ever heard him talk about is vaccinations. That's the only thing I really know about him.
Yeah. I just felt like there's some demons in the closet with him. Like there's definitely, I just always pick up dark energy. His energy makes me kind of sick to my stomach.
Right. And no middle name says that some polls are Russian misinformation, which I could see that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's Republican polls too. They take the the analytics of it and they skew it so far to the right. That's very common too. So
yes, yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm just looking at the questions real quick. Oh, I did hear this. Hunter Biden wants to subpoena sent to Trump and his DOJ because of their abuse of power and their investigations of him. Will it be granted? Yeah, I think Barr and Trump, like saying that that's the whole reason why he's being investigated right now is because Trump told the DOJ to go after him while he was president. I don't know about Trump though, but I feel like it could maybe be Barr could be subpoenaed for it.
Interesting. I haven't heard this before. Yeah.
Like more people with the DOJ rather than Trump specifically is kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah. I'm getting that, and I don't know what this means, but when I'm asking this question, I'm getting that Hunter Biden will have his day in court. He will be seeing these people in court. So something's going to happen here with this. I'm not really getting anything else besides that, but it seems like it will end up in court at some point.
Yeah. There might be a bit of a delay with it is kind of what I was picking up, or Trump tries to delay the subpoena or having to testify.
Right.
I'm not sure when the trial is. I don't know if they even have a date for it yet. But I do feel like there's communications there, I don't know if they testify or if they have to give documents or evidence up for it, being subpoenaed in that way. But I do feel like there is some compliance with the DOJ. I don't know about Trump, though. But yeah, I did see that today. I thought that was really interesting. I felt like he was going to have some success with the subpoena, like it benefiting him.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Rabia says, hi, Kevin and Kim, love you both. Hello. What is up with the progressive college students making fools of themselves post 10/7? How will this impact the Democratic Party overall? I know that there's a lot of targeting on college campuses with the Jewish students and stuff like that. Right. I'm not sure if that's what the question's about, or if it's, you have some people going out against the standing up for the Palestinians and saying that they're not going to vote Democratic because, Biden can't make a ceasefire happen. It's not right. Really, if anyways. But I do feel like it's going to get better. It just feels like things are really, like there's high tension right now around the whole thing.
Right. Right. Right.
I almost feel though like it's going to end up all being okay and actually be better for Democrats come 2024 though. Like people end up liking the way that Biden's handling this. Like things really kind of shifting between now and then.
I'm getting the same thing. Something's going to happen with Benjamin Netanyahu. Something's going to happen with him. He's going to be going, leaving, I don't know, voted out. Something is going on with him. And I feel like it will, that at that point, it'll be kind of a turning point and really good for Democrats. But there's something with him coming up. It's so funny when you ask, it's like, I'll ask a question and then I'll get some rando over here. It's like, but this is, and I think it's just like, this is going to happen. So it's going to affect this. And so
I almost wonder too, though, with Trump and his hate speech and, even kind of like taking some stuff from Hitler and his speeching and that being similar, I think that that's going to continue. And I think even with that really kind of changing things with how they view Republicans.
I agree. I think that is going to come back to haunt him. I think he's going to wish he'd never said, because I think it's going to continue. I think he thinks it's so great because people are so upset about it, and all press is good press with Trump. He doesn't care if it's bad. So I think he's going to keep doing that, and it's going to come back to bite him. It's not going to. It's not smart. Who's ever doing his speeches? I don't know, Stephen Miller or whoever's doing it, but it's not smart.
He's becoming totally unhinged, and we were talking about a little bit before the show about how there's like a bit of a, Trump's energy is not the best to tap into as it is, but it's starting to get even more dark.
Yeah. And we were talking about that because I kept getting messages to not stay in his energy. When you see him, it's not like look away, don't look at his eyes, but it almost feels like that. It's like, don't dwell in that energy. Don't dwell on his image. Don't dwell on his voice. It really has gotten to the point where he is almost, he's just more toxic and it can affect your energy. It almost feel like it could cling on to you. So it's like, and I don't mean like a evil spirit or something, but it has it has changed. It has more density to it. And so I think that's why you're seeing him change, him getting more desperate, him trying, the things that he's doing are, crazy and ridiculous. And I think he's kind of weighed down by his own stuff, and it's changed his energy yet again. Because I think it's shift. We've seen a lot of shifts with his energy. Usually when I go into Trump, it's usually just angry. And recently it does feel more like oppressive. It feels, it is kind of almost like a Hitler energy. And it feels a little more like Putin, to tell you the truth. It has that kind of weight to it. But it is different. It is different. So I've just heeded that advice, and I just try to see him and hear him as little as possible. And when I go into his energy, I jump right back out. I just get a read, and I'm out of there.
Make sure if you're tapping into his energy, you cleanse or sage or something like that.
Yes.
Especially for empath, any of that heavy residual energy. I agree. You know what though too? It's like he knows he's trapped and that there's no way out of this. So it's like that he's becoming more unhinged, more deranged. But it's also too, I felt for a while there's been some kind of dementia going on for a while. And it's like, part of it's actually kind of sad. His energy, it's sad because it's this mental illness, this cognitive decline, and he just kind of feels trapped in all of this anger and hatred. And like there's no way out of it too.
Absolutely. And and you can just look at his face, right? He does not look happy. Would you want to trade places with him? Nobody would want to trade places with him. He looks absolutely miserable. And you're right. There is a sadness to it. Because I think partly because it didn't have to be like this. Like there were so many points at which he could turn around or say no or change,
or cooperated, gave back the documents he had taken, and they wouldn't have even went after him. Him evading everything and being sneaky and calculated and not complying. This is the reason why he's in this mess right now, because they would not have went after him like they with all of the different fronts, had he actually been complying or civil with it. Because they give presidents a little bit of leeway with stuff. It's not precedent to be going after presidents or arresting them or having big criminal stuff. So, he's kind of made his bed. He's got to leave it now.
He absolutely did. I'm always saying that he is trying his hardest to go to prison. He really wants to go. Just let him go. But it's true. He is. And you said something before that, and like that is kind of what it feels like, because his energy feels more, not just angry, but down, oppressive, like it's loaded. But I think it is that desperation and maybe even, that kind of lower level depression and those kinds of things that are just kind of in it now because he's in such a desperate situation. And quoting Hitler, it's like, do you not know what happened to Hitler? Do you not know how that story ended? It's like, why are you not only, they ruined their country and they ruined themselves. So it's like, why would you choose that person?
It's all about getting his base angry. It's adding gasoline, fuel to the fire.
Right.
That's really all he has left is he wants, if he gets his base out and can try to attempt things like another takeover of our democracy, that's like his last chance to try to get out of this. He's desperate. So he'll do anything for their attention and he does kind of feed on that energy of the hatred and anger.
Absolutely, he does. You're exactly right.
Yeah. It's interesting too, since we're talking about him. Reinhold says True Social's losing money. Will it be shut down? I think I heard it was on the news earlier, like he's lost like $300 million since starting Truth Social, or something outrageous like that.
Yeah. I'm getting it maybe shut down after the election. I feel like it will be up through the election, but I feel like it may be like shut down shortly after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not going to end, it's not going to end well for him. Yeah. And it's sad that we all had to go through this, right? I mean, because the country has been traumatized over and over again by this person and all of the things that he did and all of the things that we went through with COVID and, all of that, just and then and then the Stop the Steal right after that. It's just been nonstop drama, since 2015, and everybody is exhausted. They're exhausted, and they're also triggered over and over again by this fool. And it's very, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Absolutely. But you know what, though, too, it is definitely, it's something, we needed somebody like Trump, I think, to expose how fragile our democracy is, to show how much hatred is really out there. So it's all a learning lesson.
Absolutely.
For us. It's all for us to kind of, to see what's really out there so that we can make those changes and we can kind of strengthen our democracy, so that nobody like him can do that again. And also, too, it's leading up to this. I've been saying it for a while. It's the implosion of the Republican Party, where it feels like it's a fracture between the two parties. You'll have like Liz Cheney and Kissinger on one side and then all the extremists on the other. But it's meant to happen that way so that the Republican Party can rebuild their party and rebrand and become a better party and kind of get out of all that fear mongering and all of that anger and hateful rhetoric. So it's all kind of shifting us into a more positive direction, even though it's so hard and heavy to kind of experience in the moment.
You're spot on. And my guides call it the unearthing.
Yeah.
In 2007, I want to say 17, maybe 18, they started using that term. This is the unearthing. And it was just like, everything's just going to come out. Everything. You get an idea when you read and you hear something like that. I could feel the bigness of it.
Yeah.
But for it to go to the Supreme Court and for it to go to, all of these things that we thought were kind of, well, at least this is stable. Well, no, it's not.
Right.
But like you said, there's all these holes that we just didn't know. And there's all this old energy. I think it's old Civil War energy, all this old stuff that we never, even stuff with Indigenous people that we never have faced. We've never apologized for, we've never done anything about. And it's like all of this stuff is still just ruminating there to be faced. We have to face it. Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like that karmic cycle of repeating itself for us to learn, for humanity to learn that lesson so that we can move on from it. Yeah. And, it's really kind of like, between Trump and the pandemic, it's been really kind of like that tower moment for us in the tarot. The tower is very chaotic, huge unexpected changes or events occurring, but it's also an opportunity for us to, let go of the things that are no longer serving us. That tower wasn't built on a strong, solid foundation, and so it crumbles down, and it gives us an opportunity to rebuild a much more stronger, supportive tower in its place. So it's hard, but it's almost like that awakening that we need at this moment. Sorry, my husband's getting home and the dogs are.
That's okay.
Dogs cry.
Well, I totally agree with that.
Well, we've been on for about an hour, Kim, and typically I like to keep it around that, but
sounds great.
But thank you so much. It was so much fun having you join us, and I really appreciate it. And let's do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Well, you have to come on my channel. So that's what we do.
Well, thank you all so much. If I didn't get to your question tonight, like I said, Mel Dore will be on tomorrow night. We'll be doing more politics. So 3 days of politics in a row. We should get to mostly everybody's question, I think. But please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please go over to Kim's channel, Intuitiview, and subscribe. And if you're interested in her cards or any classes, go to her website. What was it again, Kim?
It's just intuitiview.com.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by and have a wonderful evening. Take care.